What's up, everyone? Welcome back. It's the TheCrewRp Podcast. We're doing it again. I'm Yumbledore. They've somehow allowed me back in to host it again. My God.
Yumbledore. I
It's
thought
me.
Ninja was supposed to host this.
Nah, that guy's on Mixer. He's gone now. He's got he made a bunch of money. What a smart move. Honestly, if you're gonna
Hey,
make a bunch of money, I don't fault him.
business is business.
That's his business. That's his livelihood. So we've got some familiar faces. We've got some new faces. Everyone is heavily involved with the server here. Ezilii, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing great. A little tired, but I'm doing great.
No, you're not. You're excited. You're
Oh, I'm totally
overwhelmed.
excited. I'm just
You're nervous to be here, obviously.
I
No,
got
no.
3 hours of sleep and I'm
Oh.
running on my own natural supply of energy.
Which is in abundance, obviously.
Yes,
You
more
do all
energy than a toddler.
There you go. Good. Good. For those of you who don't know, of course you do, but Ezilii is the what are you? You're the owner and operator.
If you look at the Discord,
Yeah.
community manager is the name. Producer is I don't know. Zeba, how do I fit in this puzzle?
Everything that I don't want to do.
That's pretty much true.
Is it
And then I found
is
other
it
people to do other things.
the jobs and the Wozniak? Is Ezilii the jobs of the operation and Zeba's the Wozniak of
Basically,
our
because I do call people I call people assholes.
well,
and
correctly.
I can be pretty off the chain. Have you not seen that clip of me telling some people that, I'll
I
let you look
haven't.
for that later.
I haven't. I'll find it. You don't want to play that on the podcast. Well, everyone,
No,
Ezilii's
because
been
we
on.
want to keep it kind of friendly for YouTube and advertisers.
This is family friendly Grand Theft Auto. We're doing our best. Ezilii's been on every podcast so far because she runs this. This is her. She's invited us. It's whatever. I'm just saying. Slayer's a new face on
Hi.
here. Slayer, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Still, Slayer, what characters do you play on the server?
Oh, I'm Curtis.
What'd you say?
Curtis and I'm Curtis.
In the voice. Do it.
God. I'm Curtis.
Yes.
And I play Chase, bro.
Yes.
And I have another character that is TBD. He's there, but he's just not very active.
Oh, he's already built? You already did it?
Yeah, he's built. He's not the young guy that I told you about. He's gonna be maybe real estate, I think.
Okay.
So
Okay. Well, that's TBD, and
I
we'll.
like hearing all this pre-planning.
yeah.
This guy might do this, knowing that it's probably not going to happen, and you're going to find something else to do.
No, well, actually, I actually wanted to make a lawyer character. I
need lawyers. I'm still waiting,
Yeah,
Timmy.
Timmy's around. All right. The city's always, but Becky, the city's always full these days. You should see the trains. God, it is hell on my. I can't sit in those chairs waiting for those trains all day. It's hell on my back.
Becky, traffic sucks.
I'm trying, man.
It's good for the city, but it's tough for consistency on my end. But that's okay. That's okay. I want to get back in
It's
tonight.
tough
I'm not
for
going to be
my
able to. But
consistency.
seriously. Oh, they didn't give you a secret key? Zeba didn't give you secret keys? I want secret keys. Can I have secret keys, please? Where can I get some secret keys?
To be determined.
Okay, thank you.
Honestly, I can't even get into my own server.
Yeah.
And that brings us to you, zebadrabbit, who is everything that we don't see that we eventually see on the server. Zeba, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I want to hear your opinion on everything, and I want to hear future stuff. And Zeba, what do you do on the server? I think I know what you do, but I probably don't. So if you could say, take a couple minutes and just say what you do and how it does.
Well, I write pretty much the majority of the code that you guys are playing with when things break and all that. Like today when I disabled the police. That's my doing.
She did break the police.
I did, and but pretty much everything aside from the server just letting you log in and run around and do stuff, I've written the majority of the code for it. Also, TheCrewRp Gamer, he's helping out quite a bit on the back end.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like a lot of the uh, I talk endlessly, and then someone asks me a question, and I just blank out. When you go and rob a store, I made that possible. When you go steal a car and go get materials for it, I made that possible. And that's pretty much what I do. I mean, I barely play the game that you guys are playing. Sometimes I'll be flying around invisible just to make sure things are working. But by majority, I just like to sit there and watch y'all play and write new stuff for you to do.
It's awesome. So you're I mean, for everyone who doesn't know yet or anything like that, we're playing on it's a modded version. It's a modded way into Grand Theft Auto, so it accesses all the files of Grand Theft Auto through this modded program called 5M, and I think Zeba's just pulling the strings, essentially making 5M dance the way that allows us to RP with all these special. Is that? I mean, I guess that's roughly it, right? That's at surface level.
Essentially, it gives us a very boring world to start with. If you were just to install it straight off and log in, you can, run around and steal cars and all that, but there's not much really to do at that point. I go in and write the game code, which, if you can go to this guy and ask him for a weapon, I write that kind of code. And that's what makes it a lot more interesting than saying, oh, it's an RP server, just pretend like you have a gun. I can actually give you one.
Correct. You're giving us all the props and all of the mechanics that allow, the money is not built into 5M. You made the money, whatever system is counting our money and the bank system. I don't think that's built into 5M per se. You would have made that?
All the functionality is there. It's just not connected together. When 5M developed the server and they released it, it has all the access to the stuff that Rockstar originally programmed in there, but all of those scripts and stuff that Rockstar made are not in there. So we have to make those from what the game allows us to create.
Got it. Okay. So you're connecting all these different modules that, the whole section of code may exist, but it's just not plugged in with the big picture somehow.
Right. It's all
That's
there.
wild.
It's like a big bag of Legos. I just have to snap it together and make something cool for you guys.
Well, I think it's awesome. It wouldn't be possible without all the back end work that you and TheCrewRp Gamer are doing, and all the, obviously, like, shout out to all the administrators, the moderators, administrators, the decision makers that I think Ezilii has gathered to put this whole thing together. Right?
It's really a huge team.
I think when Zeba and I first were like, yeah, let's do it, because she wanted to dabble in it, and we were looking at another server, and whatever happens. But when we first started, we were like, yeah, I mean, it'll be fun. We grabbed like 20 people that want to play, and we'll just like pick a day, and maybe we'll pick a time, and like we'll all pitch in to help it like work and make it where we're paying the bills, so we can have our little sandbox and play. And like, oh well, we could like be a truck driver, and someone could be the cop, and we can harass them for driving, because we were playing Euro Truck Sim, and that's really what kind of put the bug back in my ear, because I wanted to do this. 2017 I was looking to do it, and that put the bug back in the ear when Jedi and I were team driving on like Fridays with a few people from chat, and we would hang out, and we'd have a good time. And then it's like, well, what if we could go further than this, right? Like, well, there's always Grand Theft Auto roleplay, so let's try it. And here we are.
That's where the stories are. I think that's the difference, is you can play a game and you can pretend at something, but to make a whole server dedicated to roleplay is a whole nother thing, with rules in place that kind of enhance the roleplay rather than just maybe an honors system. There's actually stuff in there beyond just an honors system. There's actual RP tools.
Yeah, and I knew that, and Zeba knew, and then Hodfingers is a avid GTA role player, watcher, aficionado, etc. And he makes a great moderator, and he kind of knows, what he'll have a chat with people, kind of figure out if there's really a rule break or not. But he knew off the get-go we're gonna have to have rules anyway. Like, if you go and sit down and you go play, tabletop D&D, you have rules.
Oh,
Everybody's
definitely.
got to follow these rules, right? So we had to make those rules.
I mean, you can't just say I win. You can't just slash me, I win. I win
Slash me,
forever.
I
Slash
win.
me, escaped. Let me out.
Boomerang handcuffs. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's all a power balance. Everyone should have the power to. I guess that's the trick. I saw a good in the Discord recently. This isn't on the list of things to talk about, but I think it's good to talk about if we're talking about power and stuff. Power gaming comes up every time, and the distinction is a good distinction I heard brought up. I wish I could remember who brought it up, but they said that it's the ability to have the time to make a decision, to make the role play go a different way. It's the time factor, where if people aren't slowing it down and giving each other the time to get caught, or the time to get away, or the time to respond, that's what makes it power gaming, which was interesting to me. And I think it's all pretty gray at best, but I really liked that as a descriptor. I don't know how everyone else feels about that, but the timing is really important, and slowing down is really important, right?
Yeah, I've always found that, like, and again, my experience is limited in this format, but I would say that, if someone points a gun, right, you have that. I always think that there should be a visual cue, which is the character picking up the gun, and then you have the next cue, which is typically like audio, right? And then that's your setup, and you have to react very quickly. You can't just do something outside. Like, I feel like if you obviously, all of a sudden you're going to pull out a gun and you're going to shoot the person, well, then that changes everything. But there's two cues, and then you have to react accordingly. Like, I think, Ezilii, when we had a chat one time in the game, and it was very much like, everyone has to learn how to react, and it can't be, the first thing can't be Call of Duty.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
We had I think it was Twin and I, we were gonna hold what is it, Bahama Mamas hostage.
Yeah.
We were gonna hold it hostage and show up with some guns, and just to see how people reacted. And I mean, it wasn't a poor reaction. We just had a lot of hero mentality, which, I mean, I get if your character, is worn out from guns and whatnot, but your first reaction can't just be, oh, I'm going to do this and win. You should slow it down and watch them make a mistake.
Right. I think one of my best examples of not knowing, like, of just reacting, was when there were shots fired at Georgia and Spencer, and Curtis and Tussie were there. And if you watch, like, my VOD or whatever, Curtis just runs in a circle, because I literally did not expect the gunshots to go off and had no idea what to do. So he just did a wide circle, like, yelling, and Tussie, like, reacted, and Tussie, like, actually was able to take down the shooter. But I just look back on that, I was like, wow, that was a terrible reaction. But at least I didn't just pull out a gun and tase the guy.
I think that the weapons tend to kill RP unless they're escalating RP. Is my theory, right? Reacting to weapons escalates RP, and then using weapons typically kills RP, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like, it's the interaction is over once somebody starts shooting, and we start whatever the shooting phase is. And I've never fired a gun on the server, so I don't really know. I fired plenty of tasers, but yeah, they escalate. The threat tends to escalate the RP and enhance the RP, and the threat of violence and the threat of, you know what I mean? Like the ability to react to it escalates everything. And then using the weapon, that's over. Then the RP is over, and we're in the someone just got tased or shot phase,
Yeah.
or the chase begins, or what have you, So weapons are good in that way, because they up the intensity of everything. That was just impromptu. I just wanted to mention that because there's so much cops and robbers ishness. So many of the big stories are a big part of that. But Ezilii, you mentioned the events team and the ambassador. We're so explain it to me like I don't know what's going on because I don't know what's going on. This is all new to me. What's changing soon? What's changing in the near future?
Well, as of Monday, the only way to get the server information is to go through an application process. And the ambassadors are going to help onboard new players as far as like, hey, here's how we do things. This is what you should expect on the server. This is what we expect of you. Here's how you make your character. Here's where you go get your haircut. Here's where you go get some clothing and have fun. But the ambassadors are really there to help set expectations. Hey, this really is in beta. This really is being tested. The economy is gonna get wiped. To really set and hammer home some expectations and go over like, hey, you kind of have an idea of what RDM is, but let's tell you what our view of RDM is. And I think it's going to help out. And it's definitely going to take a load off of my plate as far as having to reset expectations when, someone thinks it should work one way when there's a reason why it doesn't work the way because we thought about it that way and we found out it doesn't work. Or, when someone's idea of what RDM is or power gaming or metagaming is differs from what our culture within our community is, right? Like we all kind of have the same definition because we've kind of come to this definition together.
So you don't think people overreact when expectations aren't met, do you? No sarcasm at all, right?
I plead the fifth.
Yeah. No. So what I'm hearing is there's like a specific
There's a
group
specific team and
to onboard people, which is good.
They have specific times that they're usually playing. So it's between server resets. So in the application I asked, hey, between what time and what time are you normally playing? And I've got a nice spread across. I mean, it leans a little more towards the evening because we have to hope someone gets on to help onboard somebody. But I think we're going to try to onboard them on off-peak hours.
That makes sense because there's a queue otherwise, or there's potentially a queue. Like if you say, oh yeah, 10 p.m. on Saturday.
Oh, right. That's not fair to anybody.
10 p.m. Eastern Saturday. And then it's like, okay, they're not really going to get a good experience tonight.
Ironically, we spread the wealth out across Saturday and Sunday. And weeknights, there's typically a queue, but Saturday and Sunday, there could be a queue in the afternoon and not one like on typical weekend nights because people, they get on and they play early and then they go to bed or they, go spend time with their significant other or they go to a movie, they go out and do something. So we were pretty good at spreading our time throughout the weekends, but it's the weeknights, right? Like I'm off work, I'm gonna go play, right?
I've noticed Mondays have been extremely popular.
Oh yeah.
It's the first day at work, right?
Yeah. And then obviously Tuesday we had an event going on, but Monday and Tuesday were intense in terms of like people jumping on there. Because if you're not trying by like 7 o'clock, you're good luck.
I fell victim to that. Or I mean, just having a schedule, just getting off work at a regular hour, and then you go to get on. It's like, oh, I can't. Which is a compliment to the server, like the fact that if anyone's miffed that they can't get on because the server's doing so well, it's like, wow, well, I'm glad the server's doing well.
I think anybody who has maybe expressed anything like, some dissatisfaction with not getting on the server is more or less like, wow, this is really cool. They're just mad in the moment, but then they realize, but this is awesome because this is more players I get to play with.
Yes. Oh, and we're attracting some personalities too. I've noticed, at least through the Discord, I've seen a couple clips of new people that none of my characters have interacted with that are new in the last week or so. It's just like, wow, how is this gonna, you know, if I'm gasoline, they're fire. How is this gonna go? I have no idea how this is gonna go when let's say G Money meets any of them. I have no idea what he's gonna say. So I'm excited. I'm excited for that, and I'm glad the server's doing well. So it sounds like we have an onboarding team now, which is distinct from in the past. It was kind of a self-serve situation, and then use the Discord as backup for when your arms are sticking through your jacket, or when your shirt and your jacket don't match up, or whatever, right? So we have a team to help people and coach them to get their character looking right and started.
Right, and you know, to get away from the default Dan, because the mentality of the cops and the server is, if you look like default Dan, you're pretty much a terrorist. Because
Oh,
those are
really?
people that haven't spent time to, because in the past, if anybody has done anything wrong, they've always been a default Dan.
I didn't think of it that way. I guess assuming positive intent, one would say, oh, they haven't made it to the haircut store yet. You know, they haven't got their arms, their
I
clothes
wish
put
I
on yet. But
could
also,
assume positive intent in that
but historically,
regard, but
no.
historically,
Yeah.
anybody that's caused trouble has been a default Dan.
Yep.
So cops are a little weary of it because default Dans have just gone after the cops.
Unfortunately, with the mentality of other servers or GTA Online or whatever, I guess.
Hey, there's a bald guy with a white shirt driving a police car. He's okay.
Yeah, no.
Said no one ever.
No.
Right.
And also so that's the ambassadors. Is the events team?
So the events team is new. So what the events team is really doing is they're collecting information. They're helping to get people into roles like the office manager, whatnot, judge, kind of say, yeah, you can do this, or no, you can't do this. So they're kind of pre-moderating before a moderator has to step in.
So
It's not like they're scripting anything. It's hey, I'd like to have a story, like, you know, I'd like to have a big party. Okay, cool. And I'd like fireworks there. Well, you can't have them. Oh. But we can make it happen for you. Oh, okay. You know, that type of thing.
So in that case, it would be they can't possess these fireworks, but somebody, an administrator of some sort, a Baltic or some such, would like help set them off for you, kind of thing. Is that what you're
Right? There's a couple, yeah, and there's a couple of, like, the events team was like, hey, can we talk about this? And I've got some bullet points from them, if you would indulge. One of the questions is, am I on rails if I participate in a scripted / story event? The answer would be no. They're looking to assist or enhance your story and never overwrite it.
So
there's a mention of scripted events. Their goal is to evaluate and elevate and celebrate personal stories. As far as like scripting events, there's another point that they wanted. How will we know if something is scripted or not? You won't if they're doing their job right.
So the event is scripted from start to finish, or do you mean the initiation of the event is scripted? I guess I'm confused
The
within myself.
initiation of it. So if we're doing it right, you won't. There will be things that happen to the city and are grander than a single personal story. So when we started to introduce cocaine, right?
Yes.
As cocaine was coming to the server, the idea was, how does it come to the city? Well, we have to have someone who brings it to the city, because otherwise it just doesn't exist. So the idea was that there was a cartel coming, and that some people had moved into the city that already had cocaine and they overdosed, which kind of introduced it to the PD and EMS. And the goal was to have some Easter eggs or some hints as to where you might find this substance before it came out, so that way you were kind of ready when it did come out, as opposed to just, here you go, which is a little lackluster. I'd rather not just read it in patch notes. I'd rather experience a little bit of a story bit. None of those characters were permanent. it's not like they gain anything. They sacrificed a character slot for like almost 2 months to get this done. So that's part of what they do. And then, think of like other celebrations or festivals. If you've ever played WoW, you've got like, what is it? Moon Festival, Summerfest. What is it? What is it? What's the Summerfest one?
Fire or something like that.
Yeah,
Fire
or they'll help plan like a wedding. Like we just had Fort Duke and Avia's wedding this week. So yeah, they're not there to like script and write a story. They're there to help make things happen and pre-moderate before decisions are put in the hands of moderators and people get upset.
Got it. Okay, so they handle that rather than making it an official ticket. They're a buffer between, I guess, the moderators. They moderate.
Yeah, but they also took a lot of stuff off my plate because every time someone would like a office manager role because they want to try and own a business or something, the office manager role is basically a big bucket list where a bunch of people just go in it and they attempt to do things. Like maybe they're the business owner and they're using what they get paid to pay someone else. It's not that they get paid much. It's just that it's a way that they could stand there at Burger Shot and run Burger Shot because you don't collect any money if you work at Burger Shot, but you gotta at least be able to eat, right?
Yes.
So it's those type of things. So that's off my plate. Event planning and like, hey, would it be okay if I did this attempt on someone's life? Yeah, sure. And we make it happen so that way their story can move on.
I mean, it's I'm pro as much. I think most people are. I think the reason we're here is as much RP interaction as possible. And
Right.
Buying 50 burgers from a green circle is value. That's good, but also like buying a bunch of tacos from the newish character Jose is way better.
Is way better.
And I'm
yeah.
paying him like $5,000 every time I stop by. And also G Money stole his truck. But ask Jose, every time that we've interacted, I give him like thousands of dollars for his tacos because like the RP is it's so worth doing. And it wouldn't be right to just pay him, $40 for a couple tacos. Like just, as much interaction, human to human RP interaction as possible is the reason for the season, I think. Right?
I'd love to get a couple other food truck liveries.
Yeah.
So the way someone can RP as like, a slushy livery, and then someone can do like the burger livery, something to that effect. So the way you've got some competition among them, but then like if we host an event, say at the beach, maybe we have like a little get together festival at the beach, and you got the 3 food trucks out there. It looks a little bit more lively than just tacos, right?
Totally. Oh, absolutely.
That's what I would like to have.
Like in real life.
I'll get Curtis to open up a cupcake food truck.
Done. Sold.
Yep. Yep. Curtis Cupcakes. I'd love to see. I'm not sure what Curtis's job even is at this point. I guess what's Curtis's job? He's security. I don't even know.
What is his job lately?
Yeah. What's his job?
Security logistics.
How much is Tussie paying you?
Timmy has still paid him more.
Oh,
Hell,
you're
like
right.
even
You're mine. You're Timmy's. I forgot.
Yeah. Timmy has paid him more. Hell, I think it was Blackwell's paid Curtis more than Tussie has.
Yep. Tussie hasn't paid. Grum, if you're listening, Tussie hasn't paid his mayoral team ever.
No, like
what?
I made a
us.
comment. Or Curtis made a comment yesterday, and they were talking, and he's like something about getting paid because I think Tussie was advertising for the delivery job for his business, and he was looking for people to come work for him. And so Curtis sent him a message and is like, "Hey, you wouldn't hire me, haha," or something like that. And he said, "So like you're on my security team." He was like, "You haven't paid me for it." And then he said, "You haven't even paid me for the speeches I wrote." He's like, "I didn't get them." And there's a whole plot line now about how Curtis like sent 35 handwritten speeches to Tussie that he never got because Curtis forgot to use stamps.
That's really funny.
But he's also security logistics, so it makes sense.
Oh, that's brilliant. I've missed a couple things in the last few days. Zeba, what are your favorite? I know that your time is limited because of the nature of the work you're doing, or rather, I mean, maybe self-imposed, or you've taken it upon yourself, obviously, to like make the experience so great for all of us that you have super limited time to experience the server yourself, right? That's
I barely ever play. I stopped in for the laser tag event, which was fantastic.
yes.
And I'm thinking of ways to make that better in the future, like automatic scorekeeping and such.
Oh, nice.
Also, like to go to the car shows because I'm a big fan of cars and what people do to them. But really, I don't play the game. I am only there to make sure things are working, and I catch random people's streams here and there. And what I mostly do is I sit there and wait for the people who are RPing to say to like their chat or something like that, "Oh, I wish we could do this," and then I write that kind of stuff down because
Awesome.
that's something that needs to be looked at as maybe something we can implement. So I catch pieces and parts of stories. I've seen, when Ezilii's streaming and I'm at work, I usually leave her running in the background. I've checked out, I like to watch when Hot Fingers is doing silly stuff, but a lot of times he's playing Overwatch.
Boo.
I
No, I'm just kidding.
I
Overwatch is cool
watch,
too.
yeah, I watch, on Hugsy stream and Kariz. But I also watch a lot of other servers as well because a lot of people have really developed plot lines, and I like to see how other servers are doing things and see if I can't write those implements in here. So I know you guys got a lot of great stories going on and a lot of great characters, and I hate that I don't have enough time in the day to really watch you guys, but I do peek in and I try to watch what you're doing, and I try to take what you guys are doing and tweaking it to make it a little bit better.
Just out of curiosity, and we thank you for doing it. I hope you love coding and creating, and I know that we're all enjoying it immensely, and I hope you enjoy that we enjoy it. Like I would hate for you to be like sad about doing this because I think you're doing amazing stuff right now. Honestly,
It's honestly, I'm like the biggest nerd in the world where I think coding is like I look forward to doing it. So doing this kind of stuff, well, it can be super frustrating and aggravating, and servers are breaking, and people can't do this, and or someone can't log in, and I'm trying to fix all that stuff beforehand, and get you guys going as best as I can get it. I At the end of the day, if I didn't want to do it, I'd just tell you all good luck.
oh, of course, and we hope you don't. But what are some of have you caught any storylines that stood out to you over this through any of the streams or just the Discord, anything? Have you noticed anything that was like that you're like, oh, I'm glad that my code was used for this, or I'm glad that this was implemented because it caused this, or do you have anything that stands out in your mind that your work has contributed to?
Well, specifically, I can't hammer down one specific instance, but the storyline I did watch was the whole agent one because it was new into the life of our server and continued on for many weeks and involved a lot of people, and a lot of stuff was utilized that I had put in, and we wanted to see if it worked, and it did, and I was happy to see that it was a beginning and an end story that involved people, and people were compelled to watch it and were interested. And when it was over, they were sad it was over, even though lots of stuff happened, a lot of bad stuff, some good stuff. But in the end, we were like, damn, that was good.
I'm glad. I know that everyone here, being a Ezilii Slayer myself, everyone else here definitely had an involvement in that story to some degree. Like not heavily, I was in and out of it as different characters, so I was really glad that happened. And we will have Kex on here, everyone, at some point. Hopefully soon. We'll get Sir Kex, who is the mastermind behind Agent and also Peter Griffin. Or
I did catch where he stole a plane the other.
Oh yeah.
What, last night?
Was that last night?
Well, there was a plane stolen last night.
Well, there was also a 45-minute car chase, I think, happening last
And
night.
that was
with
Peter
Oh, it was
Griffin.
great. I was
Yeah.
in my helicopter.
I mean, he's skilled. He's just really good at driving, and he's also good at seeing what's going on the server and like filling a niche. And it, when weed was worth a lot of money, when cultivating and running weed and all that was like disproportionately uh, lucrative, we'll say, like you made way too much money doing that. He was off doing stuff story related, whereas everyone else was like, or many others were like, I'm gonna make $1 billion. Here goes,
Right,
I'm gonna try,
right.
not $1 billion, but I'm gonna make $7 million, which is not useful for RP, I don't think. Like $7 million is well above and beyond any car or house or anything. He was crafting, and he was thinking, and
Right, he was
forcing
planning
people.
a story, or at least planning the bits of a story. Like, oh, I could do this, and if I'm able to do this, this, and this, I could tell the story of Agent and why he loses his mind and is out to harm these people.
Story's incomplete as far as I know.
Yeah.
He left a
Yeah.
daughter.
Yeah.
He left a daughter behind. We all saw at the press conference. We watched that on the listened to that on the podcast, and some of us were there for it live.
Now you're seeing like the remnants too of like, or the other pieces coming to life, like Sledge and the various other folks that may be popping in.
I think one of the best ways, and Crappy Gamer is definitely the person who perpetuates this the best. When I introduce things like the first big one that I did was the boost, stealing cars and chopping them. I put in a little bit of a story, but I didn't develop past that, which is I really could have done it in phases. Now, the Crappy Gamer, he when he was introducing the cocaine, he had a treasure hunt. He had a radio broadcast. He had characters that were interacting and kind of introducing us to what's coming. And we're going to do more of that in the future. So you'll see things. In fact, I already have one planned. I'm not going to give any hints. You guys are going to have to figure it out.
Aww.
But it's
She's
it-
evil.
when we
Tell
do
us.
these big things like this, we're going to attach stories to them. So you feel more invested in what's happening. And some of them might be really good. Some of them might not be the greatest. We're going to try to do a better job than Blizzard has ever done at introducing
With like a 1/100th or 1/1000th of a staff.
Right. Yeah, you do a quest line that takes you 7 weeks and you get a piece of something you need 1,000 more of. That's not going to happen. But there will be some development, something you guys can be involved in that will immerse you more in what's appearing. One of the things I'm slowly bringing out right now is our craftable items. Right now, you can get some binoculars that you can make if you can find where the workbench is. It's in the world. Someone's already found it.
It's up north
I'm sure
somewhere. You said in Discord, I believe.
Yep.
You said
So
it.
you
said it.
can.
Well, north of the docks is still north, and it's still on the docks.
The
Just
docks
saying.
is still north.
Yeah.
Is that a riddle? Are you riddling at
Yeah.
me?
I'm throwing a riddle. Are you gonna rap battle?
Yeah, maybe. Who's stepping?
Oh damn!
Are we doing this? Are we really doing this here?
No.
Throwing down.
Yeah. No, I love that the new things rather than just a new icon on the map, because you could totally do that. You could be like, oh, here's where the cocaine grows, and here's where the cocaine whatever's, and here's where you sell it, and here's where you launder it, and whatever. Like, which is
Right,
cool. Like
right.
that may be what it is at heart, but like what it is at heart is not just it's the story, and things don't appear in the real world. In a real story, cocaine doesn't come from nowhere or whatever.
Exactly.
It comes from
It
somewhere.
doesn't
It
come
has a
from
story.
you standing in a field for 15 minutes while you watch a progress bar.
Yes. Even if
it
that's what it
gives
is.
Sorry,
No, go.
it just gives you like an opportunity because like to decide whether your character is involved in the first, Because I think people are like, oh, like, I mean, I came in and I thought, well, maybe Curtis is going to do, weed or be involved with that. And then it's like, there wasn't, at least when I started it, there wasn't a story behind it necessarily. I think it was already implemented anyway. But when you start adding those things, you can decide, okay, is this part of my character? And then if you want to, or at least you can follow along. And that's what Curtis did, for instance, with what was going on with Mr. White, is he started to look at all these clues and started to figure out things. So he wasn't involved with the business as much as just the story from kind of a bystander. But it makes it way interesting.
It pushes story for other characters, and like you said, you can choose to get involved, or like if your character shouldn't get involved, then they shouldn't get involved. Your character wouldn't go. Maybe not everyone's
Right, you're
character
in
would go
control
looking
of it,
for
right?
cocaine.
You're not.
Correct.
Yeah, like if you're not interested in doing drugs, and your character doesn't want to do the drugs, then you don't have to go do the treasure
Right.
hunt.
G-Money was too stupid. I was asked in chat repeatedly, like, why aren't you following the clues and looking for cocaine? And I was like, no, like, G-Money's not smart enough. Like, you don't understand. Timmy wouldn't look except with Becky, Ezilii. We had that day where we drove around and we found the one at the end of the, well, I don't want to,
Right, and Becky, that's part of Becky's job, right? She's like,
Yes.
well, this mysterious guy is talking about clues, and there's like hints of drugs and manufacturing and growing. Like, oh my God, what's going on in the city? Let's figure it out. And
No, it made sense. And that's the only reason Timmy, as the DA or as whatever, he wouldn't go looking for that of his own accord, but I was on something of a ride along when you were looking for it. So that was really fun for me. And then people would ask, oh, why isn't G-Money seems like he would sell cocaine? And I'm like, yeah, he absolutely would. He's not smart enough to figure out video clues. Are you kidding? He can't put together, anything. He can't, he's not.
Is Brace, though? Is Brace smart enough?
You tell me. Oh, is Brace my lifeguard? Yeah. We'll see what happens with him. He's going to have an existential crisis and figure out who he is. I found the cocaine, bro. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for me.
Do you remember at the frat Alpha No Beta, like all the cocaine?
Oh my God, yeah. I don't have a response. Slayer and I play lifeguards. We play lifeguards together.
Volunteer.
Volunteer. They're 28-year-old volunteer lifeguards who do summer jobs at their dad's friends' business, at their dad's friends' companies, but they always go back to the bitch where the bibs are to be volunteer lifeguards because they don't get paid for it. So they're volunteer lifeguards. They've never been paid. So I wanted to, if everyone's down, I'd like to talk about streaming RP because I think we've got a lot of streaming going on. And I would also, and Zeba, for you, I want to talk about your stream, which was super unique. And I sat in on it for a while as well, where you were actually coding on stream and going over stuff and giving everyone a taste of that. But streaming RP wise, Ezilii, you've shifted your whole focus. Not entirely, but I mean,
not really. I mean, I played Planet Coaster today.
You did, yep. A lot, quite a bit, and you still do Skylines, I'm sure, and you're doing the raft game, and you're doing a lot of stuff, but you do a lot of Becky as well on stream, right?
I do, and I also cherish the moments where I'm off stream.
Good.
It's kind of it's weird and perplexing because you could get early when we started, there was a lot of meta that was happening through streams where people would be in one channel and they would come over to another channel and tell you what they were doing.
Oh.
And so you had to coach your audience and your all the viewers in chat, hey, let's not do this. Let's not tattletale, or let's not try to meta, and let's not try to help. If you're not able to watch, don't. Because it's not going to be a joyful experience for you as the viewer, and then the broadcaster is going to have a hard time segmenting, the information that they're getting, because they're also kind of reading chat.
Yes, absolutely. Well,
I find that kind of difficult. What do you think?
When the other streamer is reading chat, is that what you?
Yeah, or when you're streaming and you're role playing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I went from I'm reading chat all the time, and focused on chat, the game is secondary, to, ooh, now I have to actually role play and ignore chat, and I feel bad.
Yeah, I do it in chunks now. I've had to
Yep.
switch my whole thing because I come from cities skylines, which is what connects all of us in a sense, really. For me, at least, that's my connection to this whole thing is cities into Twitch, into et cetera, so on and so forth. And here we are. But yeah, cities is like a chill fest where you're like, oh, blah, I'm designing, cool, time doesn't matter. Oh, hi, chat, respond to every message. And then in RP, you have to be fully engaged for many minutes at a time in blocks. So it turns into a chunk. Like, all right, I remember where I stopped reading chat. Now I got to go back and sometimes scroll to catch up with the dialogue. So these people don't remember. It's like I haven't forgotten you. I see chat the whole time. I just can't respond because the RP is so engaging, and it has to be, and that's the only way that it works, right?
Right. I think and Slayer can chime in on this too, but I think it really only works that when you're in a serious RP mode that you don't actually talk to chat, or why it gets a little convoluted.
Yeah, I'm the balancing. I mean, when it's tough because I'm trying to get better at like turning off my camera and stuff like that to kind of signify when, hey, I'm probably not going to respond right this second, or you're gonna have to wait for a response to chat. But I've noticed like I've had to do more of like kind of holding off on chat and like extending the chat log so I see more things, because I have to catch up. Because if Curtis and Tussie are talking, it's kind of ruining their experience if I'm delaying Curtis's response.
Yeah,
it's like this balancing act.
I think it's important to prioritize. If you're in the city, I think that should be your priority in the moment, lest you have to go into your head. Air quotes. You can't hear them.
Right.
I'm doing them. Short of I have to go into my head because you just got raided, you just blah, blah. It doesn't really matter what it is. And I don't think you should explain it in the moment either. I think that you should be Curtis, I think that I should be whatever character I am. Ezilii should be Becky in that moment. And then in the quiet moment, once naturally there's an ebb and a flow and there's lulls, I think not lulls, but like there's a lull. There's a, a moment of downtime where your eyes can drift over and you catch up. And I like going, what did you guys think of that? How was that for you? Because that was crazy, like just to get everyone's opinion on it or get a dialogue going with the voices in your head, air quotes once again.
Yeah, I really like, I mean, I know Tigrum has done it on several occasions, and I sort of took inspiration from that. Was at the end of his stream, at least at the bare minimum, he's doing a recap, because not everyone can be there all the time, but there's things that happen each time, like you're online and you're playing your character, that could be pivotal. So, Curtis gets kidnapped. I was actually off stream that day, so the next time I'm streaming, I'm spending minutes like telling people, hey, this is why this is happening. It's like actually spending, those little moments, like when you're waiting in queue, or when there's downtime and you're hiding in a bush for a moment. And it's just a quick, like, hey guys, here's what's happening. And then you go full bore the rest.
I think constant recap is also the move. Like I'll constantly be, if the story is really good, sometimes it's not as story based. It's more like, oh, G Money's just trying to hold up a store and then RP with the police. That's, sometimes that's all it is. And like, that doesn't require explanation. But for like Timmy got kidnapped the other day, I'm pretty sure the whole time during it, I was like, guys, we were on a helicopter ride. We were chasing this guy. Then he contacted us. Then this happened. And I would do the recap as if, that there was an episode, it's in episodes. And when the action stops for a minute, that was an episode. And it's like, here's why we're here. And it would be a constant thing is how I did that as someone who's streaming RP. It was a constant refresher, because there's not the same people in your stream the whole time, and not all of them know what the heck is going on. And it is more engaging if you let people know what's going on. And even if they miss something, no one has to miss anything, because it's all in the VODs as well. And I remind people of that too.
I agree.
How has that changed your Ezilii? Have you adapted your schedule at all for stuff, or have you? How do you find time to do everything, to still fulfill the games that you're known for playing, and then to be able to do this and help grow the thing that you're creating at the same time, and juggle it all as a streamer?
that, I mean, like, I'm in a unique position because I'm not chasing a coveted check mark, right? Like,
You got
some
that.
people are really, really close. I've done that step in my journey as a content creator. That's done. It's over with. I can move on and do other things, but I still like, just because I might role play, and I think I might just role play more at night and just stream it at night. But I also want to stream it during the day to get other folks on the other side of the world to find our server as well, to help fill in, the daytime crowd. But I think GTA for me is more of a night thing. But if I'm not in the game until 8 o'clock, and I have to wake my husband up at 5, I'm gonna have like an hour.
Right? Or you just don't sleep that night.
Or I just don't stream, or I don't sleep that night, and then maybe what I do is I don't stream the next day, or I just start way late. There is a time and I feel that I still have this. It's still like a no schedule. Like, there's no schedule posted on the channel right now, and though I might start 9 o'clock in the morning, I might start at 10 o'clock, just because I need a little extra hour to solve stuff, to wake up and go through DMs, or go through the forums, and making sure that things have been followed up, and that we're still on top of the ball for the day. Like, oh, there's this stack of mod reports. Let me read these and see if I can find stuff to help the moderation team figure out what they need to do and who they need to contact. It's all a team, and they might be sleeping, but I'm wide awake. I could go through this. As far as like what I've done on stream, I started to split. I'll do, like, say, Cities, Planet Coaster, Raft, or some game that I could relax to in the morning, and then flip on to play role play. But we
Yes.
just changed our restart times. So
What
now
are
the
they now?
restart
Yeah.
is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's at so Eastern time is at 8, 4, and midnight.
Wait, there's 3 restarts now?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So they're basically 8-hour chunks.
God, where have you been?
I don't know. I couldn't get in one night. And I just played. I played City Skylines because City Skylines always lets me in. So 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time now. You said 8 a.m., 4 p.m.
And midnight.
Okay. Any reason for
So it's
the
an hour later than it was before, or was it an
hour earlier at midnight? It used to be 1
hour
a.m.
earlier?
Eastern Standard Time. So what's the logic? I mean, it's got to be for implementation. Zeba, this is definitely more for you.
It's good for stability, number one. Considering the amount of stuff that we're doing, and the amount of stuff we will be doing, it's good to just free up that server from whatever it might be hanging on to. Plus, it helps with some people who might have crashed and the server doesn't want to let their session go, and they've been trying to get in for like hours and it just keeps rejecting them, type stuff. Also, it gives us a better cycle of implementation at times when we're awake. So like today, when I made a typo in the police script, it restarted at a time when I would be at a computer and able to fix it, essentially. And doing it an hour earlier at night means that when it restarts, Crappy Gamer and I both pretty much write our code in the evening and stage it for the reboot. And when it happens at midnight, I'm typically going to bed because I work early in the morning. So if something bad were to happen, you'd have to wait all the way until the morning for it to get fixed. And I don't want to string people along until noon or, in the middle of the morning where our EU and AU people have been trying to play all night and they're just dealing with absolute trash.
Well,
So that's why we did that.
Well, you gave us this addictive substance, and now you're making sure that we don't run out You're making sure that now we're all hooked.
It's in a consistent flow.
Yes. And I think for we throw the word server around, and maybe most people know what that is, but really I guess it's a computer whose job is to talk to other computers and get them all on the same page constantly, and that deserves a
Yeah.
restart just like any computer, right? Is it a hard restart or
Yep.
is it application or is it a physical restart?
It's not like someone hitting reset. It's just we're exiting the application that runs the 5M server itself, but not the hardware. The hardware is robust. It chances are we won't ever have to reboot it unless there's like some kind of major update. It just exits the server application, restarts it, makes sure that the database connections are all there, and then allows everyone to get into a queue. And after about 45 seconds, it lets everybody in at a pulled rate, so not everyone is loading in exactly the same time, and it allows it to distribute data without flooding out everything. So people are sitting there in limbo for many moments until everything is nice and settled and can continue.
Like you don't want it to get bombarded with a bunch of requests all at once, and then everyone suffers when
Yeah.
nobody gets in for a long time while it tries to process. So I noticed that, yeah, it went right up to 32 after a reset, after a midnight reset 3 days ago. I went immediately into queue, even though I knew that I was one of the first ones to click the button.
Yep.
So that's what that was. Good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
nice
our
because before it would just like, you dump in and then you complain that the K muscle's not working.
right.
Everyone
And
would, yes.
what Connect Queue does, not only does it, keep you in a queue when we're full, because typically if we didn't have that, it would just say server's full and disconnects you, and you'd have to keep clicking connect and connect and connect over and over again. And that's not really fair. We want the next person who wants to get in to be in line. And
Yes.
also what that same program does is when you restart the server, it puts it in an idle mode and allows all the system services to start back up and get in line before everyone is able to just get into the server.
So you get all your files loaded up. It pulls all the information it needs before dumping everyone in, rather than just doing it all at once. Come on in. Good
Exactly.
luck. Good luck. And then you get a
Right, 'cause-
bunch of, and then the Discord fires up and everybody quits and restarts unnecessarily and
Right.
everything goes ham.
And then they're stuck in an actual queue, and that would suck. One of the big problems we had on our last provider was people would all log in at once and they'd be like, my K menu's not working. It's because the server and the database are all syncing up, and there's 32 people trying to get all this data all at once, and it is a large amount of data to do all at one time. So Connect Queue lets 2 people in, and then 10 seconds later lets two more people in, and 10 seconds later lets 2 more people in, and it'll keep doing that.
Sounds better for stability and user experience as well, which are
Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
do it.
Zeta. So is like some of the buildings and stuff like that, like hypothetically, let's say the casino, for instance, because I've seen other buildings, are they like mod pieces that you can add into the server? Like, and what I mean by that is like the interior. Is that like almost extensions that you add in? Or like they're
Yeah.
pre-developed assets?
There are some interiors already in the game, but there are new ones like Pillbox. None of that exists in the game, and those are actually edited pieces of map that have been inserted through basically modding.
Awesome. Like the whole of Pillbox or just the downstairs?
Wasn't there it's a DLC and then someone made a mod to make the DLC be cleaner and then someone made a mod to make it work, right? Is that how it went?
In the first version of the game, Pillbox fronts was just a bunch of doors. It had no interior. Throughout the game, the single player version, you in a DLC, you get a mission that involves you driving through it and crashing out the back window. And it basically you destroy all of the inside of the upper part of Pillbox. So then the top part of Pillbox became open, And then someone wrote a mod to clean up all the debris and put in a nice clean lobby and a place with hospital beds. Now we have an additional mod that opens up all of the bottom half of it, which completely takes out the whole bottom geometry of that building and replaces it with another mod.
It's a lot down there, and I think it's really good for. They were doing surgery in the morgue in the past, if you know what I'm saying. They were doing like surgeries.
Not ideal.
Not ideal. Not ideal. That's bad
You're
foreshadowing.
already where you're gonna end up, so
Exactly.
might as well just do it here.
Yep. Oopsie.
I mean, I used to ask Hugsy what her kill to death ratio was.
I mean something to zero.
Valid question,
I
I
guess her character has survived many
She's
traumas.
running around saying like, oh, 3 people died today, and I'm like, what are you doing?
I guess it's I know you're joking, but I have to explain to people IRL when I try to explain. By the way, has anyone tried to explain GTA RP to people in real life?
Yes.
And it's like pretty challenging actually, because they're like, oh, so like how do you win? And it's like, you're like acting. It's like you're an actor. Just face it. I'm acting effectively.
I've explained to 2 coworkers recently, which was experimental, just to see how quickly, like, because they're both in touch. One of them has more video game background and understands what Twitch is. One has actually done work with Twitch, so they're both aware, but they didn't really understand the combination of Grand Theft Auto and RP. And like one of them asked me a question today, like, do you do a voice? Like, what are you doing? Or what do you do like when you walk around, and how do you meet people, and how does all this thing work? It was a lot more questions than I expected, but I guess it shows some interest.
It's a good thing. I would say that's better than just like, oh, it's, dismissing it as a video game. I mean, it's more similar to like LARP or reenactment or something in my mind. And we just do it in this other medium. It's not, because it's not GTA. If we're doing it right, it's not GTA, and it's not GTA Online. It's more like LARPing. It's more like going to a Renaissance fair and you're playing a character. You're playing Sir whoever the whatever. You invent your character and you go in and you're in character the whole time if you want to do it that way. That's the way I see it. I'm sure I had somewhere to go with this, but I forget what it was.
Well, you're playing a part in a movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I was flying to PAX one year, and I was trying to tell the older lady next to me that I was sharing the aisle with, because she's like, oh, what are you going to Seattle for? And I'm like, I'm going to PAX. She's like, what's PAX? I'm like, it's a convention. She's like, well, what do you do there? It's like, play video games and talk to people. She's like, is that your job? Is like, yeah, I stream on Twitch. I'm an online entertainer. And then her eyes got really wide.
Online entertainer.
Not that guy.
And then she's like, why would anybody watch you? And I'm like, why does anybody watch a sport?
Yeah.
I heard an interesting comparison, and it was a discussion about subscribing to like your favorite streamer, right? And they said there's tons and tons of people that subscribe to Netflix for entertainment, and if you are big on Twitch, and if you're big on like watching Twitch, and that's kind of like something you enjoy doing, and you replace that, you replace Netflix with that, then that's kind of why you would subscribe, is because you're gaining that entertainment through that like avenue. I thought it was just an interesting comparison, because it has become more and more mainstream.
You could support 3 content creators that are independent, and for the price of your Netflix. Isn't it 15 now?
12 or 15. It depends. 4K is something else, so they have like bracket.
Totally. I mean, people are doing this full time. A lot of people are doing this full time and holding down jobs and doing their own whatever. And I just love hearing when people recognize that and like appreciate it. Or it's like, oh, I get value. What you're really saying is I get value from what you do. And that's just the best. That's just the best, honestly, in my opinion, as a streamer. When somebody's like, oh, what you're doing, I play the same game as you, and you're helping you help me unwind and get tips, and we have a dialogue, and and I get value out of that, and whatever. That's just like the highest compliment when somebody subs, basically, or donates or bits or just being there. also.
100%.
Yeah, it's just huge in my little world, in my little corner of Twitch. It's like not everyone has to like it, and we're all different flavors too. Like the three of us are Cities players, and we all play it a little different. Some more different than others. The Ezilii's layer and myself at least, right? Zeba, I don't know if you've dabbled in the cities or the skylines.
Yeah, but no. I'm not like I play it and then I'm like, okay. I'd rather code what the vehicles are doing than actually build the
The back end. You want to see like the AI and why it's doing what it's doing, or maybe you see a problem and you're like, oh, I could fix that. I know roughly how that's being coded.
Right.
It's so logical. The logical brain.
I plop things in cities. That's all, according to Yumble.
Yeah, he just plops things. He's just putting down buildings. I just want to build roads. I just want to build miles of beautiful
You need an
roads.
infrastructure. You need an infrastructure management game.
Who's that? Me?
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. That's what Cities is. But also there's like train game. There's train games and there's
Transport Fever.
Yeah. And what's the other well, I would like to do the park. What's the thing called?
Planet Coaster.
Planet Coaster, the park thing. I loved Roller Coaster Tycoon growing up. Like I loved Roller Coaster Tycoon and Age of Empires were two different flavors of this top-down.
Age of Empires. Yep.
God, I miss
AOE
Age
2.
of Empires.
I still have it, man. I still watch.
I have it too.
What's his name? I
I
got
think
the HD
everybody
one.
here probably has it.
Yeah, that was good stuff. And that wasn't, that was
Still
an
got it.
RTS. That was a strategy game. And then
Yep.
Roller Coaster Tycoon was, I felt like they were similar, and I didn't know genres as a kid, so I couldn't tell why. And then RCT is a tycoon game, which I know it's it's a economy management
Mm-hmm.
businessy game, and I loved them both. And that's kind of where Cities comes in. I never played what's the tycoon or what SimCity.
SimCity.
I never actually played SimCity. Roller Coaster Tycoon was my SimCity. So I think I'd love Planet Coaster as well, probably. But that management piece. Zeba, you've got changes. Everyone, this is super important. Everyone listen up. Do we have time? We have time for this, right? Everyone's chilling?
We got time for this.
Oh, absolutely. Like this is super important. Zeba has hinted at some changes, and I really want to hear what they are in depth because it's going to change how the criminals interact with the world a lot, and I spend a lot of time doing that. So zebadrabbit, what are you about to unleash on us?
It's funny. As soon as you say that, it looks like the server crashed.
Oh, geez. I mean, it's who did it? Who did? Hot Fingers tripped over the cord. Everyone.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Dang it.
We got squirrels in the server room. Sorry, guys.
Bugs. Literal bugs. Oh, Crappy Gamer may have fixed it. He might be looking out. Not that I would know that.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's working on it. So, okay, things coming up.
Yes.
More craftable items very shortly. In fact, I'm gonna get hopefully the lockpicks working tonight. And what does this mean?
Yeah.
You can't just run up and carjack someone. You can't just run up and break a window and steal a car. It's going to take time. It's going to take having a lockpick on you. It's going to take the possibility that you break a lockpick halfway through. If you are, like I saw a car chase yesterday with a tour bus where he wrecked it out and then immediately carjacked someone and drove off. That's not going to happen. The peds will lock their doors. There are chances.
Sorry,
peds,
T-Money.
Yeah, there are chances out
adapt.
there where peds won't lock their doors, but it's going to be rare. You're going to have to, go find where to craft them or buy them off someone to be able to get into. In the future, this isn't going to be tonight or tomorrow. Locked doors on buildings, not like the police department, but like houses and things. Also, banks are going to become a lot more compelling than what they are right now, because right
Yes.
now it's you stand there for 5 minutes and you get some dirty money, which I don't know about y'all, but dirty money is the most ridiculous thing I can ever think of. This
Although it's used
is
as evidence.
Yeah, I mean it's used as evidence, but in the future, you're not just going to get money. You're going to go into these banks, you're going to break into their vault. They all have a vault in the back. You're going to have to go through some of the deposit boxes in there. You might get some money, but by majority you're going to get items. And these items are going to be like um if you watch like in the no pixel world they have valuable goods, it's going to be
Yes.
kind of like that where you have to go out into the world with these valuable goods and you'll have to trade them for money from npcs in the world. um why am I doing it this way? Because it gives more chance for police to catch someone carrying valuable goods on them, which obviously you stole them, because maybe they're like, when you put stuff in deposit boxes, chances are you're getting it insured or you have it insured and you don't want it stolen, things like that. Um, and there won't be dirty money at this point. It'll just be money. And when you sell those items, you'll get money.
That sounds
So
awesome.
those are the two biggest things. There's going to be more craftable items like your own repair kits, which will not 100% repair your vehicle, but they will make it so that you can drive it. So you blow a tire, your engine dies, it's going to give you just enough to keep it driving, and you should go get it repaired. Or the bodywork's going to stay trashed, and it's going to look like hell. You're going to be missing doors and broken windows, but you can still drive it. And then you need to go get it repaired. But
So you
these will
can
be craftable things.
you can limp it to the nearest custom shop, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So the lockpicks, how can we, as the community, how can we find these things in game, or will there be? Are we talking new icons? How do you intend to introduce us to these things? Because I'm not going to know what the heck's going on when I log in, and I'm sure others won't as well. Or are we just supposed to
There,
stumble upon them, kind of thing?
I'm going to drop some hints as to where you'll be able to make them. Um, it's going to be up to y'all to get the materials to make them. Really, it's going to be someone's going to stumble upon them, because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to drop the big hint right now.
Yes.
The place where you craft is in a place where everyone has to go at some point.
It's in the bathroom. No, I don't know.
Could be.
I don't know.
You think logically,
solve
right?
it?
You're gonna make a product, right? Are there tools in the bathroom? Probably
Survey
not.
says no. I was just basing it on someplace we all have to go at some point.
Yeah,
So
but
it's someplace we would have to go to craft things. Okay. I don't want to spoil it for everyone. Obviously, I've cracked the code. I've not cracked. I don't know. I'll have to RP it. Like I'll learn through RP.
chances are people have walked right past it without even paying attention.
I want to say like a factory or something, but I don't know. I'm just guessing. So there's no
Close.
new icon per se. So it'll be people.
There
will
won't
and
be an
have-
icon because it's going to be available in these spots, and it's going to be known that if you go to this spot, somewhere in that building, you'll be able.
I think the end got cut off. You'll be able to.
You'll know that it once you find one, you'll know what to look for.
Got it. Okay. That's helpful enough to be helpful, but ambiguous enough for me to say, keep your secrets.
Just takes a little bit of exploring.
Yes. Goodness. Okay. So there are these places where things can be crafted from stuff, and stuff comes from somewhere, and stuff can be turned into lockpicks, and it can be turned into binoculars as of right now, is where we stand.
Right now, you can just you can make the lockpicks. You can't use them right now.
Ooh, okay.
You'll be able to use the lockpicks hopefully before Monday.
Very cool. That's going to make chases very different, because some of the chases get extended pretty handily by someone who sneaks into a new car. Not to name any names.
Right.
Who would do
right.
that? I don't know. G-Money.
You know, most people's cars these days, they automatically lock when you start driving anyway. You know, why wouldn't it be like that?
This is true. This is definitely true. Are there other any other changes we should be aware? I'm sure there's stuff on the horizon, but is there anything close enough that you'd want to bring it up as well? Banks, lockpicks. Have I missed anything?
Cinematic camera mode in which you can stage your own screenshots with camera filters.
Yes.
That's good.
Let's see what else I got here in my pipeline. I'm going to make the tow truckers able to own their own tow trucks, and we're going to have some more tow trucks.
That's good. It's been sharing. It's been like local tow trucks that nobody cares about, and you can kind of leave them wherever you want and respawn whenever you want up till this
Right,
point. And there's
right.
no way to despawn them either. You can't. Or maybe I think there used to be an exploit. I saw you post about it where some naughty individuals were selling their tow trucks back or something and
Yeah, they
making
were
money.
impounding their own tow trucks.
Yeah. If you can do it, somebody will do it, and that's one of those
Yeah.
cases.
Yep.
It's evil.
Also, the big one, which is a handy mod that someone wrote, and I loved it to death, but it is a street racing mod in which you can design your own course. You can save the courses. You can bring up different courses. You can have multiple people join, and you can bet on who's going to win.
I was going to ask about the money piece. That's really, really cool. So there's an incentive, not just the fun, but there's a monetary incentive where somebody could Fast and Furious out and totally Tokyo drift and just swag out on some people, because that's what I want.
Absolutely. And
Obviously.
if you like a route, you can save it and you can bring it up another.
Holy cow. That's going to be huge,
Which,
actually.
when we get this running and working, I'm definitely going to play more because one of the things I love about GTA is racing.
I saw your video about driving whichever motorcycle from the industrial zone up to Polito in like, what was it, 6 minutes or 5 minutes and something?
Yeah, it was, I think it was like 5 minutes.
A
Basically,
police car can get there in 5 minutes.
okay.
I did it from the very tip of the south side at Voodoo Place all the way up around the highway. I think I let off the gas maybe 2 or 3.
So it's basically optimal then. Just about.
I want to do another one where I'm doing at least 250 miles an hour the entire way in oncoming.
Do it. Your own self-determined challenges.
Yeah,
Let's do it. Get in there and race with us too. Take some time off
Oh,
and
hell
like
yeah.
party a little, please.
So the race mod is a big one. It's really nice. It even draws checkpoints out in your field of view, so you don't get lost as to where you're going. And it's really really cool. Whoever wrote this was fantastic.
That's awesome. I can't wait for that. G Money is a terrible driver. He's not going to win. Doesn't matter. Does anyone want to do clips? I think now we're probably approaching. It's about that time. Oh, someone was thinking the same thing I was.
it's clip 30.
It's clip 30. Look at your watch. Doot, 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 doot. So everyone, feel free. Ezilii's already sent me one that she had staged from her stream. It looks like.
I stole the one I told you about.
Perfect. I'm involved. I love it. Let's do it. All right, it's clip time. So,
Okay.
so the people in the people on the podcast, you'll be a couple seconds behind. So I'll let you fire this up so you can see it at the same time, or feel free to click the links now and just watch them. But this is from Ezilii's stream. It looks like it's a bunch of people.
Okay.
Okay. Firefox does not like existing on stream. It's very shy apparently, so we're gonna have to do something different apparently. Well, that's unfortunate. So yeah, everyone find your clips. Now's the time.
You know what we should do is we should have a voting system.
Oh, for
Ooh.
clips, yeah.
as many thumbs ups voted up, and we find them based on that.
Agreed. Sorry, Firefox is busted, so I have to build a new scene real quick.
Or build an entire new browser.
Yeah, basically, I would use Chrome, but it's all logged in with my stuff, and I don't want to.
It's called a new private window.
Never heard of it.
Oh my goodness.
Never heard of it. Clips. Clippity clip.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, geez. So what is happening here? I'm still not sure what's happening here, but there's a lot happening, is the point. Oh, no. All right, looks like we're at the police station. There's a bunch of people here. They're all partying. Let's watch.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. You're gonna have to dance now.
Oh, okay.
Ready?
Oh,
Oh my
Give it
goodness.
to you.
oh.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
What the?
How'd you do that? That move.
Maybe she was gonna do the 180 once more.
10430.
Yeah.
This was filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Break it down.
With canned laughter.
My name is Baby Shoes.
I think that move is called the twist.
Did I get it right?
Wow, that's horrifying.
Gotta give him that bounce, boogie, bump.
How are you bending like that? He's so flexible.
Practice for
He
years.
goes to yoga
Do that hot
Do
yoga.
the twist.
every
The hot
morning.
yoga.
Okay.
Oh my
Ready for the
goodness.
move?
Holy cow. So that was shenanigans, basically.
Yep.
So I'm guessing, let me guess what's going on here. Bill just got Baby Shoes out of jail for something. I don't know. They were all lawyers that night. I
No,
think.
actually, who was arrested? I can't think of their name. But Bill was being the lawyer. Oh, David Wood was arrested. And Bill and Baby Shoes and who
Polly.
Polly were, so Baby Shoes and Polly were the proteges for Bill. And I was tired and I was getting ready to actually part ways with Stream, and so we just did a dance as I exited.
Well, it was beautiful. The cops and the lawyers all dancing together is what it comes down to.
Right, so I forced them to dance with me. I think the phrase was "dance or you're fired."
Oh, well,
Oof.
if you put it like that.
Do you want your paycheck or not?
So here we've got one from Slayer. This is, I was involved. I was there. G-Money was just about to go do some terrorism, ? Apparently. G-Money got called a terrorist. Ezilii.
Wait, what? Did I really?
Yeah. No,
Hold
well,
on,
not in person.
Is that in this?
No, it's not. It's not. Later in the night, he was dressed up. So he was dressed up as this persona that I thought up called Patriot Pete. It was just a guy with an American flag wrapped around his head and a shirt with some mild profanity on it. And, he was about to go steal a taco truck. He didn't know that I didn't know that's what he was going to do. He didn't know. But that's what happened. That played out after he got a small loan from Miss Blackwell and Curtis. Or Curtis was there, so it's all of us.
Yeah.
So like Miss Blackwell Luna's great. Whenever she operates machinery as Miss Blackwell, she does all of the sounds. So anytime she prints something, she makes all the printer sounds into her microphone with her mouth. And I remember challenging her when she was going to the ATM just to literally perform the function of a withdrawal. I was like, oh, I wonder what sound the ATM makes. And it spawned this whole thing. As I remember it, that's how it goes. So this is G-Money and Curtis, as played by Slayer, and Miss Blackwell, as played by Luna Tictacular. Having a blast. Here goes.
Reset. Boop. And I gotta give it a minute because it has to think about resetting and tell me thank you, even though I didn't do anything. Alright, now I'll try it again. Beep, beep, beep. Boop, beep. Boop, 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 boop. Beep, boop. Beep. Boop, 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 boop.
Is something wrong with it?
That's not nearly enough. That's like, Miss Blackwell, what's wrong with the money printer?
Is it okay? That one burn up.
How many flips? How many flips? Here, let's go. Here, Curtis, you and me can probably get these working. If we all do it at the same time, I think we can probably get them all working. Here, let me just do this. Beep boop. Beep boop boop. Beep beep beep. Beep boop 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 boop. Boop boop beep boop boop. Beep boop. Yes, it happened. It happened. We were trying to do what she does.
Yeah, I do that just playing games. I make sound.
That was a blast. It went on for much longer than that. That was a limited version of the clip. What you got? Oh, you got more. Nice. Oh, is this when she flew off the... Well, okay, I don't want to spoil it.
I don't know.
Okay. I think it is.
To us.
Oh, perfect. Good. Sorry, I can't see everything. I only have 2 monitors, and they're both super occupied at the moment. But here we go. So this is what is this? Miss Michelle Jean, I believe.
Yes.
So let's see. She plays Officer. I forget the name of her.
36.
It's her blasting off again. The title of this is Team Rocket's Blasting Off Again. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, he's going pretty quick. Still north on Alpha. He's taking a left. Alright, he's now southwest on Las Langer.
Guys, I think my eyes are playing a trick because I literally just saw a cop car fly through the...
Officer down. Yeah, he's going pretty quick.
I love the timing of Officer Down.
That's like the best
She was
part.
very patient to say officer down.
Yeah, and I love that was Kazualu, everyone. What is he, 31? 16. I forget. Kazualu plays an officer as well, and he's the one that over walkie goes, I think my eyes are playing tricks on me because I just saw a cop car flying through the air? Question mark?
Yeah, and then she's like, officer down.
Yeah.
Again.
Which is the perfect response.
Oh, I
All
love
right.
our cops.
Oh, it's so great, yeah. All right, so we've got one more, and then I think we're nearing the wrap up. But here, this is let's see, who is this? Clips. Oops. Oh, this is Geek Gaming. Okay, so he is Officer 99. This one is entitled Air Ambulance.
Holy crap!
Nope.
Oh my god. No.
Ah!
Oh.
Whee!
I did not expect that to end like that. I'm so sorry.
Jesus Christ! What the hell?
My god.
Are you trying to kill me?
No.
Fuck that! I'm taking my chances. Ah! What the hell? Jesus Christ!
99.
Oh my god. Shenanigans. utter chaos.
Chaos and calamity.
It'll happen. That all seemed very unplanned. I think the EMTs were just trying to get back to the road. I don't know why. I have no idea the story.
I don't even know where they
context.
are. Like, Are they in the desert? Are they down in the ocean? Where
That
are
looks
they?
like Chiliad in the background, or at the beginning at least. It looks like a huge mountain in the background. Yeah, there's always shenanigans. I'm hoping to do more stories soon. Trying to get on tonight. We'll see. I don't know what the queue looks like. I'm probably already out of luck, but that's
I
okay.
should be okay by now. Yeah.
You think so? I hope so. Oh wait, was so the reset was just at? It was at 4, wasn't it?
It's a couple hours ago.
Okay.
There's 21 people on right now.
Oh goodness.
Yeah,
Alright, so
Friday picks up slower as people stay up later.
Really?
Yeah. From what I noticed, the queue on Fridays usually starts around 8:30, 9 o'clock my time, which is 9:30, 10 o'clock Eastern.
Yes.
And then the queue goes longer throughout going into the wee hours.
Holy cow. Okay. I'll try to keep that in mind. In my mind, I'm like, oh, it's the weekend. I got to get on early so I can stream this for like 9 hours. But normal people are like, oh, I can wait until like 10 or 11 to go on. Different mentality. Let's see. What do we go out on, team? What are we going to do? Maybe I definitely want to hear Curtis sign us off, at the very least. Ezilii, I keep making you sign off as Becky or Emily Frost or whoever you'd like to. And
They
Zeba,
sound like me.
They sound like you. I know. I know.
Get down on the ground or I shoot you.
Becky made me get out of the car yesterday for some crap.
Oh my god, that was amazing.
And then she got a call and just drove off. I was like, Pussy, what the hell?
I said, I'm sorry, just carry on, drive safely, and I sped off. Yeah. It's true.
It happened. Shenanigans.
We thought it was for tinted windows.
No, you were actually kind of speeding.
No, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, allegedly. Curtis would never do such a thing as that.
Talk to my lawyer, Timmy.
He's a good boy.
I wasn't speeding.
He's good friends with the district
prosecutor.
Well, jury, I don't really think he did it, but we're gonna prosecute him to the full extent of the law, even though he probably didn't do it. Wink, wink, wink. Didn't do it. No bias.
Didn't. Allegedly.
No bias. Allegedly. No bias. I haven't done the Timmy voice in so long.
This is how it goes, though. This is RP right here.
It really is.
Switching back and forth as quickly as we can.
All right, I'd like to thank I think this is the wrap up, and I think I might have Curtis sign us off, if that's okay with you, Slayer. If that's cool with you.
What do I need to say? What do I say?
I mean, I'd like you to. Well, I'd like to say thanks to all the guests. I think Curtis should too. Ezilii, thanks for coming back. Slayer, thank you so much for coming on. Zeba, thank you for gracing us with your presence and telling us about what the future holds and a lot of good explanations.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
Sorry, I started phoning this in.
Oh goodness, no! Thank you for sticking around. We all got things to do, and I think some of us might be going into the city in a minute. Wink, 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 wink.
Wink, wink.
So I'm going to leave it up to Curtis to sign us off. I've been Yumbledore. I'd like to introduce you to Curtis.
Well, I don't know if I can cuss. God, I don't know what to say, Timmy. I don't know what to say. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for participating in this podcast. Thank you, Ezilii, Yumble, Zeta. Appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a great night. See you. I'm Curtis.
Who are you?
I'm Curtis.
Who are you?
I'm Curtis, Timmy. Damn it.
Well, that's fine. Curtis, you did a wonderful job there. Curtis, very good stuff. Love your socks, too. Where do you get those socks?
Target.
You get them at Target? Really?
I get them all at Target, and I put Scotch Guard on them, spray them real good so they don't get too wet when I'm running in the rain.
Oh, that's that smell. That's what that smell is.
Swimming in the ocean.
Frequently.
Fact. Allegedly.
He really like boat. Really enjoys a good boat, everyone.
Timmy, will you level with me?
Yeah, I'd love to level with you right now.
Will
Please.
you level with me real quick?
May I?
Is this the end of the podcast?
This is the end of the podcast. We did it. We done did it. And now we got to move on. These people have things to do.
Our shift is over.
How long till Ezilii just leaves?
I mean, Zeba's already in a car somewhere on her phone, I think. So she's already just gone. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. I've been Yumbledore.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Yep. Have a great night. We'll see you on the next one, hopefully in a week or so.
Y'all have a good night.
You too. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.